News at 4 begins now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Tom Sherry.
Hi, everyone. I'm Regina on Whitney is off. Well, the Panhandle Health District Board members voted to end the district's mask mandate yesterday. Now, this comes on the same day the health district reported its first case of the California COVID-19 variant.
Our Morgan Trow is live in Coeur d'Alene, where restaurant workers and shoppers are reacting to these new changes. Morgan.
Tom, Regina, today is the first full day that people can go without masks required by law in northern Idaho. In a 5-2 vote yesterday evening, the Panhandle Health District Board voted to rescind the mask mandate for all 5 of Idaho's northern counties. Just 2 months ago, the Panhandle Health District Board voted to keep the mandate until April 22nd. Dozens of protesters stood outside the January meeting, urging decision makers to end mask oppression. The mandate has been in effect since November of last year.
The mask mandate and everyone living a year in fear hasn't been fun.
Zach Dirksen works in Peta Pitt's corporate office and says the restaurant industry has not been as impacted in Idaho as it has been in Washington due to more lax guidelines from Idaho's Governor Brad Little. Although he was not someone who protested outside the health district building, he understands why people are sick of wearing masks. Despite this, he says he will continue to wear his to make others feel comfortable and due to his line of work. I'll have more details on why board members voted to get rid of the mask mandate in our full newscast at 5. Reporting live in Coeur d'Alene, Morgan Trow, KREM 2 News.
Okay, Morgan, thank you. Well, new COVID protocols have been announced for Washington schools. The requirement for distancing in classrooms have been dropped from 6 feet to 3 feet.
But districts have still been given the option to stay at 6-foot spacing if they want it. So what will this actually all mean for local classrooms? Our Casey Decker is digging in. Casey.
Governor Inslee said that these changes take effect immediately, but in practice that won't be the case for most local students. The 2 largest districts in the county, Spokane Public Schools and Central Valley, both told us tonight their boards will have to assess the options and make a decision at a later date. And there is actually quite a bit to assess, as the president of the local teachers union told us tonight.
A layperson might say, well, you're going from 6 feet to 3 feet. You just shove a desk and a kid in between those 2 dots. Pretty simple. And it's far more complicated than that.
Jeremy Shea says implementing the current protocols took a lot of time and manpower, and changing them up would too.
I know in the governor's press release, he's like, you can implement this tomorrow. Well, in a district this size, with all the modifications and changes that we've put in place to get back to in-person, any small change like this presents a whole host of logistical questions that have to be answered.
For one, it would create a huge burden for a custodial staff that's already burdened with severe sanitation measures.
We took furniture out of rooms to make space for this. So you're talking about having to return furniture back to buildings that's been put into storage.
Shea says this also creates new questions for how to handle student transportation and could possibly make contact tracing more difficult. Beyond that, they have to navigate the myriad exceptions to the 3-foot rule. Inslee said today 6-foot distancing is still required in common areas, or while doing activities like exercise or music, or while eating. And a lot of that currently happens in the classrooms.
You wouldn't really be able to adjust that spacing to 3 feet because they have to eat there.
So although it seems like a simple change, Shea says sorting all this out and actually implementing it could take nearly to the end of the school year, at which point he wonders, is it worth it for kids who have already endured so much upheaval?
One more change, while it seems like a simple one, is asking a lot of a system that's been in what seems like a constant state of change over the course of the school year.
The union hasn't explicitly come out against making these changes, but it's clear that for larger districts, this isn't something that we'll see take effect right away. Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
Well, bringing you up to speed on the vaccination efforts in the inland Northwest, everyone 16 and older in Washington will be eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine by May 1st. Over in northern Idaho, everyone 16 and older is eligible effective immediately to receive the vaccine. The speedier rollout comes as President Biden announced a new goal to administer 200 million doses by his 100th day in office. So far, more than 87 million Americans have received at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine.
Well, a first of its kind study begins today to finally determine whether you can still carry and transmit the coronavirus after you're vaccinated. The study is based in Seattle. It will study students at 21 colleges across the country, including UW. 12,000 vaccinated and unvaccinated people between the ages of 18 to 26 will participate, and the trial requires them to conduct daily nose swabs. If they test positive, researchers do contact tracing to see how it compares between the two groups. This will also answer how safe it is to stop wearing a mask after you are vaccinated. All right, let's turn